I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is Be a Man, Not a Pussy. I got an email here from a guy who writes to me wanting to know how he should go about expressing his emotions around women so he doesn't be perceived as being weak. He says, "Hi Corey, since I broke up with my selfish, insecure girlfriend several months ago, I have been reading your book over and over and have been really taking on board your YouTube videos. You've been really inspiring and also taught me a lot about why women do what they do and also what I have done to sabotage things. And it has helped me to be far less angry with women for how they have treated me in the past. I just wanted to say that I love it and it's so challenging but also very compassionate in its approach and really inspires me to grow as a man, so thank you very much." You're welcome. "The reason I am emailing is because I am struggling with some of the things you say. I want to be the mountain and also calm, collected, witty, and charming in conflict with a woman. And one thing I would say is that you say be charming in conflict with a woman. Well, a guy who understands women doesn't argue with women. And if you're getting into situations where you're arguing with women, it's because obviously you don't know how to communicate with them effectively, like I talk about in my book, and you're unsure of how to interact with them in that way. And I go in extensive detail in my book on communication skills. The reason I am emailing, let's see here. He says, I want to be the mountain. He says, but it's hard as I'm a very sensitive, gentle guy who has been in relationships with emotionally abusive women. And I would say no one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. I notice nowadays that until recently, since reading your stuff and applying the basics, I spent a lot of time pleasing a woman out of fear of abuse. Yeah, it's exactly what you see on TV all the time. Woman walks in a room, goes, "Why isn't the garbage taken out? Why haven't you painted the house? Why haven't you fixed the car? Why haven't you cleaned out the garage yet? Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that?" And the guy goes, and he trembles in fear and falls all over himself to please her. And then at the end, she loves him and kisses him. And she basically acts, you got women that act like the men in relationships now. But when you look at movies and television programs from 30, 40 years ago, you didn't see that fucking bullshit happening. That's the feminist movement has just totally fucking gotten way out of hand, way out of control. I am now cutting that out, standing up for myself, saying what I think, yet also trying to be in control of my emotions. However, it is so hard because now I am growing in authenticity, and I'm really noticing that I am a really emotional person, and so it's easy to feel less like a man and more like a woman sometimes in that respect. And I would say you need to cut that shit out. Here's the deal. When you're with women, it's okay to express the things that you're feeling, but I can tell what's happening is you get around a woman and you want to start talking and treating her like your fucking therapist or something. And that's definitely the last thing you want to do. Like as a man who's in control of his emotions feels whatever he feels in the moment, embraces it, feels it, heals it, moves through it, and he goes back to being the way he was. He doesn't sit there crying in his woman's arms and crying on her boobs like he would when he was a little boy crying to his mommy. I've had guys that have written me before saying those kinds of things. And it's just like, dude, it's like if you want to cry in your beer, or you want to cry over life, or you want to cry how hard it is, go do that with your guy friends. Go do that with your buddies because they're struggling with the same thing. But when you're around a woman and you start acting weak and you're acting like a woman around a woman, it's going to turn her off. Why? Because women want a man who acts like a man. It's okay to feel emotions and to cry, but not to sit there and act like a little boy and cry about the guy that was mean to you or the chick that didn't like you or things that you don't like. Your boss is being a big meanie at work. I mean, you don't want to be this way around women because she wants you to be strong. If somebody's is upsetting you at work or upsetting you in your life, a man just handles it. He sits down and he talks to them and he communicates to them in an adult way. He doesn't go home at night and cry to his wife about the the person at work that's putting him down or saying mean things about him. I mean, that's totally fucking weak. I mean, I know you see that shit in TV, but it's not how men act in real life, at least men that are successful women. He says, sometimes I wonder if a woman would ever find the sensitive side of me attractive at all, and more importantly, admire, cherish, and honor that side of me too. I mean, it's okay to cry if you're watching a movie and it's an emotional thing. That's fine. That's an authentic expression of your emotions in the moment. But like I said, I can tell your problem is that you want to treat women like your mommy. You want them to be your therapist, and because you see that in movie and TVs all the time, that the man's got to be sensitive and show his feelings and express all of his weaknesses and his fears and his doubts. At the end of the day, a woman wants to know that her man is strong, that he can handle anything, and that he will handle anything. Because, let's face it, a woman physically, if she's in physical danger, she's going to expect her man to do something. And if you don't stand up for yourself, if you let her walk all over you, then deep down she's going to think, wow, this guy can't protect himself. If he can't stand up for himself, if he won't stand up to somebody who's verbally abusing him and telling him to stop, then if I was ever in real danger or real trouble, he probably wouldn't stand up for me. He'd probably put his tail between his legs and fucking take off running. And that scares a woman. It causes a woman to doubt your masculine core. It causes her to doubt that you're a man and you're ready to fucking rock and roll if God forbid, something would ever happen. He says, I know I have limiting beliefs here, so feel free to call me out on it. I am okay with respectful feedback and constructive criticism, but I am not sure how to do what you say to do. I am such a sensitive guy who doesn't want to be a wuss bag. Like I said, keep that shit for your buddies. When you want to cry in your beer, go do that with your buddies. Don't do that to the women that you're dating, because you're just going to make yourself look like a fucking pussy. You know, they're going to think, God, this guy's so fucking weak. He's got no spine. He doesn't stand up for himself. It's a total turnoff. He says, but I don't want to change the way I was created. Do you have any encouragement or advice, as you are clearly a respectful person? And so, like I said, one thing I would say is stop being such a pussy. Stop expecting women to be your shrink or to be your therapist or your social worker or your counselor. The idea is that when you're around women, if you feel emotional because you're watching a movie or whatever, then that's okay. If something emotional happens and you're recollecting a story, like if I'm talking about a buddy of mine that got hurt or killed in combat, because I got buddies that didn't come back when they were in service or they were in war, and like those things tend to get me emotional. Or I'm talking about something as it relates to honor or doing the right thing, I can get a little bit emotional sometimes. But I never take the time. Women I'm dating or girlfriends I'm in a relationship with, I never sit there and treat them like my shrink and, you know, lay around and bawl like a little girl all day and want her to make, you know, build me up and make me feel like a man again. That's horrible. I mean, a woman will put up with that from you for a little while, but if you do it constantly, it's going to cause her not to trust your masculine core. So can you focus on? Focus on doing something you really love for a living. Focus on filling your life up. And if you're not working for the company or that you don't have the kind of ideal career that you want that gets you excited, then you should start looking for a company or a career that you can get into to where you can go do something you love. Or if you always want to start that business, you got to find a way to start that business on the side. It may take you several years, 5 years, it may take you 10 years to get to the point where it's making you enough money where you can tell your boss to take his job and shove it up his ass sideways. But the idea is that you got to do something that you really love and you're excited about, because women love guys who have ambition, guys who go after the things that they want in life. They don't want a guy that sits around the house and cries about his problems all day and expresses his emotions, because that's a dude that acts like a woman. They want a guy who's fearless, who goes after the things that he wants in life, and that includes them. It includes a woman. It includes asking for phone numbers when you want to ask for a phone number, or asking a girl out for a date right on the spot when you've only known her for a whole 30 or 60 seconds. The idea is to go for the things you want, to be direct, to not beat around the bush, and to be masculine when you're around women. And if you gotta, like I said before, if you gotta express your feelings and your emotions, go do it around your buddies and cry in your beer with your buddies, because they'll let you do it. I mean, think of it this way. Guys are loyal in that respect, just kind of like a dog was. A dog, he never leaves your side, but what is a cat like? Cat's like, this is fucking boring, I'm out of here. And the cat takes off and roams the neighborhood and may come back 2 or 3 days later. And that's the way it is. So if you got a question that you want to ask me, or there's a topic that you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which is going to be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max detailing your questions, your situation, and your challenges. And you just got to give me several days to get back to you with a response, because I get a lot of email from the internet. And I also get a lot of it from my paying phone coaching customers. But be patient, and I will get back to you. And if you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which is going to be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box on the right-hand side, there's going to be a link that will take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page. And you don't have to have a Kindle device to read my book. You can just simply download one of Amazon's free Kindle e-reader apps, and they've got them for Android smartphones, iPhones, iPads, tablet devices, Mac, PC. I mean, pretty much any electronic device, they got a free app you can download that will basically allow it to act like a Kindle. And once you got that on your device, it only takes 60 seconds to download my book, and you'll be reading it in no time. And I will talk to you soon.